This was me in middle school. Yeah, he was a skater boy that had a blatant lack of common sense to trust in such a janky homemade backyard skate park, and then to raise the stakes, literally. And I remember with this absolutely insane setup that we built, and I would always have to restack the bricks when it fell. There were probably like 10 different setups that we'd always reinvent and shift around. I was mostly influenced by my brother at that point, and he was always much better at it, but it was a great bonding experience, and also with friends, so many great memories. I loved the fashion. I still wear a shoelace as a belt because the skaters did it, since regular belts hurt to bend down with. You know, the action that is involved in every skate trick there is. And it was a great way to feel myself progressing at something, and I wanted to feel that again to some extent, now that I'm about 8 years older than those clips. So I want to explain that the last time I had skated before starting this video about 6 months ago was 2.5 years before that, for a week after being indoors for a bit. I wanted to kickflip while flipping an omelet, so I'll just play some of that to give context.
Tried to flip an omelet while kickflipping, but didn't really land it. And I also made a little song that people said I should release, so I should get on that. But first I need to flip this omelet the only way I know how.
Kickflip or flip an omelet. I'm sick with it, but I'm not popping. I was pondering why not. Wait, I think I got it. Maybe I'm just too cool. I'm so sorry, I'm so cool. Like my coolness meter.
But basically what I want to record now is...
So now, this version of me, 6 months younger than me from now, will begin by showcasing the 10 tricks on my skate bucket list, performed by a video of me almost 10 years ago. Could this be an act of desperation, wanting to validate myself that I'm just as cool as I once was? Perhaps. Will I prove my worth and land all 10 tricks? Guess you'll just have to wait and see. So now, to this version of me, that doesn't know something that I do. Could say something that derailed the creation of this video, why it took so long, but I'll explain all that in due time.
These 10 goals of mine, these 10 little tricks that if I land, I can consider it complete.
Also, to reduce any anxiety that some may get while watching skate videos, I would give a warning if I was about to play anything that would be painful to view or anything gross like that. Alright, so first, let's jump to this date, you know, let him set up this video. Kind of like putting the board together, getting the wheels rolling, if you will.
So the first one, to begin with, a pop shove it over a gap. I was never that good at it. I've never like pop shove it over anything crazy. Last week I did pop shove it over a two-stair, didn't film it, so it doesn't count. So this one is still up in the air.
Ayo, up in the air, you know. It's funny that I don't know if that joke landed or not.
Number 2, second trick on the list is ollie something reasonably big. And I know, you know, it's subjective. The biggest gap I've ever ollied was a 7-stair. I don't think I'll do that many again. I don't know. I don't ever want to like get too crazy with the skateboarding. I just want to, I can stand just up. To fulfill my own like happiness and get that bits of adrenaline, but nothing like too crazy. You know, I know my limit. Okay, third goal is this flat ground trick that I don't know the name of.
There it is.
I think I've heard somebody call it maybe a Casper flip or something, where you like flip it halfway, flip it back. So fourth trick, this one called a nollie inward heel. This one's difficult. I keep on trying it almost every time I have been skating the past couple weeks or so, and I keep on kind of almost getting close, but it's a freaking tricky one. It's like the only thing nollie that I think I know. 5, another flat ground trick, I'll just say land a tray flip, or 360 flip, however you want to call it. I never really had them down, but it'd kind of be like, oh, if I land one on a rare instance, then I'd be, you know, cool with it. I'd be stoked, you know, if we want to break down into skater terms, skater lingo. But lingo isn't really a skater term, the skater slang. Ooh, now we're halfway through the list. Now we're gonna go to number 6. It's called an impossible, but it was kind of like one of the tricks that I used to be able to land fairly often. Number 7 on the trick list, the goals of mine. I think I could also do like a heel flip off of something, even if it's something small. Really not confident about it. I think I have faith in that I can do it. Number 8, 50-50 down a ledge. Again, I don't want to be too dangerous with it. Don't want to get too carried away, be too risky, but I do want to push myself a little bit and do something that I can, you know, be proud of and be like, dang, I can't believe I freaking did that. So I wanted 50-50 down something pretty cool. 50-50, I'd say I could land them about half the time, about 50-50%. Okay, stop, sorry. Number 9, just a little double flip on the old flat ground. I haven't even tried them recently. You gotta give it a good flick, you know. Real one of those. Just, you know, really throw the foot out there. Number 10, last on the goals of mine, that I would consider this challenge complete, is if I could do a 180 over something. You know, just a half spin sort of. And that one also, it was kind of one of my go-tos, one of my favorites, because it's like, it's not just an ollie, but it's, so I think I can do that. You know, I have faith in myself that I could at least complete 8 or 9 of these, perhaps 10. And also, again, I have this bonus. I don't know if I want it to count as 1 or 2, but I don't even know. Learn a new grind. But hey, that's the idea. Don't wear it out.
So that was the idea, and now that we're at the storyline of this past summer, wanted to go through the footage in order of what I got filmed, and we can check things off the list along the way, because things were landed, not to spoil too much, but here we go. First day back at the park. This was truly the first time skating since the kickflip omelet flip video from before my hair extended, and on second try, got a 360 pop shove it that I was pretty stoked on, and I didn't actually include it in the list, even though I probably should have, so this would have felt more rewarding, but I was still just practicing, so it was fun. So I moved on to try the nollie trick, number 4, but was not quite doing the physics that I was expecting it to, so then I went to try some trays, number 5. Probably should have made it number 3 because tray, but once again was kind of getting defeated by it. This one kind of landed, but if I was playing skate, the person wouldn't count it. Maybe would allow for a redo if they were feeling generous, but come on, let's switch it up. Let's try some rail. Classic board slide, second try. I was pretty happy about. Still not on the pre-made list, so does it even count? Whatever. There's also no manuals or half-pipe tricks on the to-do list, but I'm just doing side quests, okay? You know, enjoying the gameplay. And it was actually my first time doing this in over 5 years, and it kind of felt like riding a bike, because completely truthfully, I was never really better at this than I was right here, so I was feeling personally fulfilled. And also sorry to the viewer that I smoothly cut out the fails so it seemed cohesive, and also just so that adolescent me doesn't show me up from earlier, you know, all those videos in the list had tons of mess up takes too. I just remember that I deleted them because I only kept the mix. And I remember when I used to go to this park, there used to be no graffiti about 10 years ago. And actually, speaking of number 10, trying that one here for a little bit.
It's number 10 on the trick list. Will I get it?
Good try. Haven't documented a list checker till now, so that was pretty cool. And screw it, let's go for the sandwich list maker. Go from trick number 10 to trick number 1. And I could not get it first try because I was feeling tired, needless to say. But still, my motivation overpowered my exhaustion. And second try. Once again, could hardly even believe that the muscle memory had stuck with me. And I was about to go, but I just had to land something off the 69 420 ramp, or not. And I kind of left after that. So here's our first post-skate park car chat.
Alright, that was a good little first session back. That was like the first time actually skating at a park, I think in like 4 years.
It was really rusty, you know, and I only skated for like 30 minutes because I don't have a tool and the trucks are all loose, and plus I'm a little exhausted, but it's fun, man. I forgot how freaking fun it is when you're trying to trick a few times and you finally land it. It's like, yes, like it's... And it's one of those, you know, I mean, it's a sport, one of those things that, like, I could see myself, like, eventually kind of trying to progress a little bit with it. At least maybe just stick to flat ground and really simple stuff, because a lot of the bigger stuff has always scared me. But I just want to, like, get good. Even with rails, I was never the best at that. I always could do only, like, 2 or 3 grinds ever. Like, well, 2, basically. Just board slide 50-50. Those are, like, the 2 main ones. But it kind of makes me excited, you know? It's cool, because I usually just go to, like, parks to trail, like just the trail walk, and usually I'm just walking. Sometimes I'll run and stuff too, but like that isn't as fun as like actually being able to learn, you know, this sport. And even the past years, like I'll still like watch like little videos of it, you know, of other people who are really good at it, just because it's always been like I've, you know, been at it since literally I remember some of my earliest memories were of skate parks, you know, even when I was like younger than 10, even like way back. Like over half my life for certain revolved around this, you know, wheels on a board. It's like there's all this technology, but then sometimes the most fun is, you know, just getting on this thing that cavemen could have created. Well, I mean, yeah, I think the cavemen could have, you know, created the concept that if they had the idea of wheels, you know, they could have thrown it on a lumber stick somewhere and then been like, oh, yeah. That's freaking cool. So there's 2 different progressions it can go back and forth between. It can go back and forth between.
Every day like it's the first version.
Alright, enough of that that time for garage practice session. In these clips, no more smooth transitions, cause it's grungy and garage rock type vibes in this. Got a little pop shovey, try the tray, trick 5, nah. Try trick 4, nah. Can I even ollie? Nope. Okay, what if I try to turn it? Okay, understood. Trick 4, let's go. No, okay, trusty pop shove it for confident boots. There we go. It's trick 4 again, trick 4 again, trick 4 one more time. And I really wanted to check this item off the list so I could stop thinking about it. Maybe just needs a different camera angle to show more messiness of the garage. This try was something, so I'll give half credit to trick 4. Thought I'd try trick 3 now. The half pop shove it, front foot, kick flip back around. Wasn't really clicking, so I tried trick 5 again, and nothing. Kinda felt like I was getting close, but just out of reach, like a carrot on a stick attached to a horse. I was just thinking soon I'll get it, but kinda just tiring myself out. But decided maybe I'll try it with hair out of ponytail, like a true skater, but still my legs weren't having it, so I called it a day. And at least my dogs were still happy for me regardless. So I wasn't even bummed out, more so just thirsty.
Can't win them all. All you can do is try. It's all good practice, you know, it's just slowly getting better. I landed a few.
And if you're wondering if I was even keeping the checklist in mind at this point,
nothing to knock off the checklist, but that's okay.
Well, there's your answer. All right.
Cause I have a feeling I'll have a day where I just get a whole bunch of them. Must see.
Another post-park session that I didn't get any filming at.
Okay. So I just worked and then I just got back from the skate park and I realized I ran into a little bit of a dilemma, I guess, on the skateboard video. So I think I checked like 3 things off the checklist, but I didn't film anything because there was people there. But there was like a 2-stair there. I kick flipped it and I pop shoved it and I 360 pop shoved it. I think those were all part of it. I don't think I'll count them. I think I can find somewhere where I can actually film it. But hey, it's good practice because today felt like it was the best day of skating so far, man. It felt really nice.
So technically I was halfway done with the checklist, but I began to get really determined with the concept of this video. It was in the exact same moment filming this that I felt equally proud that I was able to land cool things in front of some people that I had just met that day, that I was also kind of sad that I didn't get any footage of my tricks to prove it.
And if I did it this time, then I'll be able to do it again, so I'll get some videos, some new videos of it. And also the clay figurines video has like 4 minutes of it done. It's so freaking exciting, man.
And since I mentioned the clay figurine video, I'll clear up now that me filming the intro was right after I posted that, because I thought that this video was next to work on, so I'll show some more of that real quick.
Wow, so exhilarating. What a really climactic moment. Oh wow, he's probably gonna freaking add music to it later so make it feel like it's some emotional moment. Things to think about. There's always something to think about.
So back to the timeline. This day just skating some trails, saw some deer. Then some days later I go to the park with the 2-stair that I mentioned earlier. Speaking of early, had to get there at like 10 a.m. before other people so I could film this time. Keep it simple, steezy, smooth, a bit rough on the flip trick list attempts, but number 8, 50-50 down the ledge, boom, 3 out of 10 documented, but 6 out of 10 actually in my mind. Let's see if we can balance those numbers out. Surely kept trying to, but just kind of seemed to not really feel as I did when the random people were there subconsciously making me try to prove myself. Even when this mysterious car slowly drove by, I just let them down, as well as the camera and myself. But I knew that any one of these attempts could be the one that left me pumping my fist in joy, feeling accomplished. Or any one of the tricks could possibly send me alone in the hospital waiting room, but I guess the risk was worth the fun of skating. An act of rebellion, doing exactly what one sane person shouldn't really physically be trying to do. All for what? Chasing that ever so out of reach self-fulfillment meter that never quite feels fully fulfilled? But maybe I could, at the very least, do something like check trick number 7 off the list. Booyah, 40% list completed, and why stop now? And if you couldn't use context clues in my exasperated sighs at this point, I'll use my words.
Exhausted. All worked out, maybe, rather than worked up.
This video is sponsored by water. Drink water.
I think I can chill slightly with some flat ground. Try to get some of those.
Now that I'm hydrated, thanks to water. Bye now.
This time that old pesky trick number 4 just kept threatening me, but this little fly critter passed by said, "Oh, you almost got it, keep trying." So I just wanted to prove it right, and then I didn't. Even tried trick number 3 some more. Lo and behold, at this point, I was at my strength limit.
When I kept thinking back to that fly's calm words, I bet he also likes water.
Thesis is comparing video making to skateboarding, having to fail over and over, just for the sense of accomplishment. Check 2 things off the checklist. I want to at least get 4. I'm really sweaty and exhausted, but I'm not hurting too bad, which is good, which means I got some more in me.
This whole montage of misses was just fueling my motivation to land some.
You almost gotta keep
I thought,
trying.
hey, let's try a new trick that I haven't in a bit. Might as well try trick number 2. And got it first try. So it was cool that trick number 1 was try 2 and trick 2 was try 1. Ain't that something? Yes, sir. Officially documented, halfway done with the list. Thought I'd celebrate and try some wacky stuff. And also, I was thinking that every attempt is still good workout and cardio, so these fails may seem defeating, but actually, I was having a decent time just doing what I can.
Okay, I watched the footage. I think it would be cool if I could land it.
Or maybe it still looks moderately cool even though I didn't land it. At least I tried.
And this was the closest that I got to that one. Couldn't fully commit, so, sounds like a Gen Z problem. And you'd probably be thinking, man, that dude seems so tired, surely he will give himself a break. But no, even after this very scary close call of an attempt, I still kept trying to balance the documented list with the amount of tricks that I had actually landed since I started this.
Reach my limit.
Yeah, water. Water.
The shots are looking pretty nice, but they're just cool if I could land.
I just needed one more for that day. Getting golly close to number 4, but again, just out of reach. Each time analyzing foot placements and pressure balance and flip and so many things, just taking mental notes of how to better do a trick. So it's not like I'm foolishly slinging a board all willy-nilly dilly style. I was just doing experiments, solving equations that I couldn't quite find the answer to. A problem that I created imaginarily, but somehow felt so real. And even if you have to resort back to a trick that you've already checked off your skate list, well, it's still gratifying that you still got it. And a land is in fact a land, even if afterwards you kept trying for another long while as the clouds pass, unable to scratch that itch again, at least for that session. So we got 5 documented ones left, but 4 in my mind.
I'm not wasting my whole day, my whole free day off trying to land tricks. I got a couple. I haven't talked too much about the job because I don't know, I'm just trying to separate it feels personal to some extent. But I gotta lean into life, that's what I keep on thinking. Just trying to do my best, take those opportunities, but try to have some enjoyment as well. I don't know, just figure it out. When do I call this video? Do I still have to get all the 10 tricks? I think there's 4 left. My blinker has been on because I've been at the stoplight, so I'm also thinking if I edit this that it'd be kind of it might be a little bit distracting with me talking over the blinker unless I talk in the rhyme or at least the rhythm, unless I talk in the rhythm. I know there is a TikTok that does this, even though not every word rhymes. Honestly, not even many do, but you just gotta keep talking anyway. Okay, so now I'm about to turn, and so the rhythm will not stop. Click, wait, oh, missed the click. That's okay, I can still do this. I guess I was thinking that. I don't think the target demographic with this even be skateboarding, because they'd be like, I want to see this kid freaking failing. So I don't know who the target. I guess I never know who my audience is directed to, because I always just make it for me and kind of try to really not think about other people watching it or perceiving me that much. But I know sometimes I should take that into consideration more, especially when people ask. But I guess that's all art, is being self-conscious. But everyone can use a love and compassion. Everyone can give a little love and compassion. I think that's what the idea is. Yeah, it's moments like this I'm reminded. Yeah.
Now, I wasn't solely focused on this skate video. I'm always kind of chipping away at many projects at a time, so I decided to work on a music video for the Flying Drone song. There was a line about a guinea pig. You can see here I'm kind of constructing it, still thinking out the idea still. This ended up just being painted frames of the story concept that I had in mind, but I did use that painting of the lab, so again, it wasn't all wasted time. Then I recorded that song to the beat that I was working on in the car.
Everyone just trying to find how to feel alright. Sometimes I get reminded the twisted beauty supposed to think life is it's like a slide. I'm the frame when down the upside. It's just me raising the mic to begin.
My train of thought, I guess it applies. My train of thought never rides on the path, because I'm I need to I don't know. I don't want to make a video where I'm talking too much about the work stuff. I don't know, but it's been nice though. Maybe just vaguely if I do vlog type stuff, I guess what this would be. But it feels like I'm learning a lot of new things, but also applying skills that I've known for a while. So it's cool. There was some yesterday. Again, there's so many moments that I think about trying to document, but they're all just maybe I should like write them or something like that.
And I wanted to include part of that whole talk because it again shows how scattered my ideas always feel. So I'm filming this on the 28th, but 10 days ago it looks like, I'll just read the script. Today is February 18th. I've been writing out this whole skate video from the point of the story perspective, finally. I've been meaning to work on this video for so long, always felt daunting, but now I feel excited to find completion to it. So yeah, this was when I kind of started this giant scroll of a script thing. I had some pieces here and there, but alright, anyway, enough of that. Now to this day, let's get into it. You know, keep this pushing. Keep it pushing. There's another joke. That was improv, because it's like a push-in pun. Alright, so a new park that I hadn't documented.
A new park I hadn't documented yet, and this was definitely a specific park to the one reason why I took such a long break in this video, if you would like to use a foreshadowing pun, I suppose. But again, I'll give warning before that clip plays, but here we just got some gentle bails and fails and falls and close calls and stalls and but anyway, I remember feeling rather anxious this day because the ramps were so loud and I could kind of hear some distant class that was going on some ways away, but I wasn't really paying attention because I was really determined to check some more documented tricks off my silly list. Started trying to try some new grind for the first time, a nose slide, but oh my, I did not do that fine. So I switched gears, started trying this little pop shove it trick that was on the list, but I already checked it off. It was just for fun here. Only got close a couple times, then switched to flat ground, back to old trick number 4, then trick 5, whole 360-degree flip, tray for short, but there were no shortcomings, and it is a feat to land, and you gotta land with your feet. And these moments happen so fast, but they feel so important and significant in the exact moment of the scooping the back foot, flicking the left foot, and just hoping that it rotates perfectly so that the feet can land safely. And even if you do, then you gotta regain balance after being airborne, and sometimes it just doesn't roll away the way that you planned for, though also sometimes it does. After about 20 attempts that day, finally nailed it. Trick number 5 down, and that's 60% of the list actually completed, aka the number of the tricks that I'd felt that I had actually landed since I started working on this video. So that was cool, but I was still determined to complete the challenge that I had set for myself. But I did land a fakey big spin, which was not on the list, but still a little neat. Might as well try a different trick too, and then switch back to this angle of a trick that I wanted to land earlier. Even though trick number 1 was already checked off the list, I had included a short snippet of that in a video of the clay figurines, and at that point I hadn't shown any other clips of what I was working on, so I kind of felt cheaped out by that one, so I wanted to get a cooler one. And now is the time that I give the disclaimer that some may not like how this looks when my ankle twists sideways, but it's also not too graphic. There's no blood. It was so close to a land, the front foot just slightly miscalculated the equation, and I was soon met with a sharp pain sensation in my ankle, something that I was not unfamiliar with. I've felt it maybe 5 times skating long ago, but this time did feel different. It hurt way more than I ever remember and almost made my whole leg numb, dang near my whole body. I just couldn't move at all here. I remember thinking that my shin felt like it separated from my foot, but I knew that I couldn't just stay here on the skate park concrete forever, and I also couldn't really call anybody. I knew that I just had enough strength to hobble myself together to chill on a bench for a little bit, just trying to not think about how much it hurt. And funny that my foot did a 90-degree angle because I was only 60% done with the list. And also I didn't want to cause any scene to the people practicing something, so I just kept quiet, silently screaming internally. Ow, just hoping it isn't. Holy shit, this hurts. So here you can see how swollen it was initially, and suddenly I found it ironic that my shoes were brand crooked, because I had always just associated that word with the grind trick that there is, crooked, and I was also kind of leaning into that trick earlier that day, so maybe it did all unite harmoniously in its own way. I hobbled my way back to the car, just limping up a storm, using the board as a little crutch, but I'm still at the point where I don't know if I should go to like a hospital. I don't know if it's broken. I'm glad it's just a foot again, but it's just, oh, I'm done skating for a long while, dude. I was so close to it's all good, but I just had a lot of sprained ankles. And I think this kind of feels like but it should. And I'm glad it's the left one so I can drive with the right if need be. I can't even remove my freaking sock or shoe. I don't have soccer shoes on. I meant sock or shoe. I can't remove either. Well, I guess it'd be impossible to remove the sock without first removing the shoe, so maybe that was implied. Maybe I should have said shoe or sock. good. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, just remove it. Okay, I got it. Ow. It's all good. I don't want my foot to come with it if I take off the shoe because it feels like. Oh, I got it. Oh, I got it. Okay. Whew. So this looks swollen. Very swollen, but I don't think it's broken though. Ow. So I think I just need to wait a little bit because I don't think there's no like bones. I don't know. I'm gonna search into it. I don't want to keep filming. But I guess the art is paid, you know. I can't do this video anymore though. Ow. Can't even focus on it. I just gotta keep playing music and just focus on it.
And I was grateful that it was at least my left foot so I could safely drive to a hospital. No, not quite. I felt too stubborn at that point. Thought that I would just do the old tried and true rice method, chill on it, until a few days later became different colors and I knew that I should check and see if I needed an x-ray and any actual surgery or anything because I just didn't want it to heal improperly. And I knew that the skate video was either done or put on a long hold. And I honestly forgot about this video for a bit after. Was just working on that initial flying drones video and then after a bunch of other creations that had basically zero risk of harm, except maybe internally one could argue, but and I was in a full leg splint that I went to work with for about a month and a half afterwards, finding it kind of embarrassing to always talk about it, but I at least had video of the occasion, so it was an interesting survey that I would conduct to gauge people, because I would mention it and about half of the people would say that they didn't want to watch it because stuff like that makes them squeamish, which I would agree to because I genuinely don't like to consume that stuff either, but the other half of people seemed a little bit too enthralled to watch me in pain. But it was all for sure such an experience. I was happy to get back into some skating, and it was a learning lesson to stay within my comfortability.
The old YouTube, the site that I've for sure spent the most time on throughout my whole life, ever since middle school. Here I am, still on the same old app. The thing is, when I create, I intentionally make sure, or even when I do things, I feel like I try to do what I can to make sure that I'm not like putting imaginary pressure on myself, because a lot of times I realize that the anxiety and everything can be seen as imaginary, although sometimes it feels so real. I always have to reassure myself, like, it's all good, dude, everybody's just, you know, doing their best and everything like that. Like,
so now it was about half a year after that month of summer returning back to the skating, and I've been walking fine with solid ankles for about 4 months, and every now and again the thought of this video popped into my brain, but my excuse was that it's winter and cold out and I didn't want to skate, and I wasn't really excited to even get back on a board until rather recently. I thought that I would like to try to complete this video. It's like I knew that it would have no real conclusion if I didn't at least get one more skate session, and tricks left were 3, 4, 6, and 9, actually all flat ground ones, so I felt confident and safe to try again. So here we go. I first went to a skate park, jumped in the deep end knowing that there's probably people there and I'd be rusty, just like some wheel bearings after skating in rain.
I think today's the day, so I've been waiting until all my ligaments and everything feel up to try to do a little get back on the old board, you know, and we'll see. I have 4 tricks left on the whole trick list. I did a whole a lot of scripting, and I still have that other video. I think I want it to be the last thing I filmed though, so I can tie everything together. So at this point, I guess that version of me knows whether or not I complete the list, because it's just 4 flat ground, 4 flat found. So like, I think it seems doable, but there's some complex tricks. You know, I'm just gonna try what I can.
Here's a drone clip I got later for transition.
Alright, so I just got done skating at the park. I didn't film anything because there was people, but it was my first time back, so I'll still talk about it, you know. It was a pleasant experience, man. There was, once again, reminding me of like my favorite part about like going to the skate park and stuff is just meeting random people. Probably like there was 5 or so that just like kind of chatting with, making jokes with, and just kind of like sharing tricks and just cheering each other on, and just like this camaraderie that's so nice, you know. Everybody's got their own specific style, their own like types of tricks and stuff, so then somebody else does something that you can't, like it's always like, yeah dude, heck yeah. Even like the simple stuff, there's something like, there's like a ollie from bank to bank, like something pretty simple, and then, you know, people are like, yeah, heck yeah man, just like cheering on, you know. I did a few things, but actually I didn't even do anything that could be checked off the list. I think I did another impossible, and I wasn't really even focused on flat ground. I did more than I thought I would. Sometimes when I'd flick, like do like heel flicks and stuff, I noticed that my ankle's still kinda, there's like a little pain to it, so that's a little unfortunate, but you know, we worked through that. I'm thinking still today I'll find some spot that I can actually like film myself getting the rest of these tricks. Because then I'm thinking in terms of for the video, I don't like how it's just like me talking about with no video. I don't know, you know, it's all good though.
So I went back home to a little garage session. Now that I'm warmed up, I thought, let's complete this skate bucket list. Set up the camera with a classic fisheye lens, and literally very first trick, nailed the impossible. Number 6, documented down. Felt like going off script, doing a little heel flip, which got some props from my dad, which was nice.
Thanks.
Then I had a little skate trick slump, nothing I was unfamiliar with, obviously, and I knew it was just practicing, and I was still determined to land the little nollie pop shove it 2, first in years. No list checker, but then I kept trying for number 3 that I had left, which I finally got, but a little toe touch, I thought, screw it, I'm counting that.
Hey, screw it, because you gotta screw in the trucks on the board. That's how.
Even got the closest to trick number 4 also. My feet did what they were supposed to, but my awkward top half of the body got a bit unbalanced, but I felt like I'd been trying so long that I wanted to count this also. So basically all I had left was the double flip, and you can't argue with that one. So at this point in my brain, I felt like I had completed my self-made challenge. As celebration, thought I'd try the impossible again while there was an audience, and it was a nice little feeling of felt like my internal validation was matching the outternal, which was really something special. So after these days, I kind of didn't feel like doing much tricks afterward, and I decided to start getting more B-roll footage of me skating around, and also some tech that I've been including throughout, just because it felt a lot more safe than to try to practice anything crazy.
That's basically the end of the script here finally. But also to tie this video together some more, I did save some of the video clip of me saying the list of tricks at the very beginning, so I guess I can run into that.
Reassuring myself, okay, if nobody watches this shit, it's okay, dude. Like, I have to make things for myself, and then just hope, you know, if it reaches an audience, that it reaches one that it'll connect with, and people that'll enjoy it, you know. But having no audience is better than having an audience that finds it and then tears it to shreds or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I'm really hoping, obviously not that, but I guess I'm trying to clear all expectations, really, you know, and be hopeful, but embrace all outcomes. If only freaking 3 people watch this total, like, that's all good, man. It's all the algorithms. These machines, you know, they're not letting me, you know, it's not me. I'm the best. I'm just creating, but like these machines, it's the ones that they don't like me. Just kidding. I don't know. Okay.
I kept thinking that I want to get more cool scenery of me skating, and then I had the idea to 3D print this little board that I've been trying to get some little, added B-roll. Oh, B-roll, and that's actually been going pretty well, I think.
And I also had took this drone to the skate park, which is a whole different story. I didn't script anything for it, but it was also such a cool experience. I met some cool people. It was like I stopped skating way back in high school to pursue music more, and I'm glad that I did, because I felt more validation and rewarding feelings from stuff like that. But it always holds such a special place in my heart, you know. I'll always enjoy watching skating videos, and I think it's such a crazy concept of an idea, and I'm perfectly content with knowing that I'll never be on any type of professional level with it, but there's still so much fun to be having. I'm glad for this video to exist, and hopefully if I put this out there, I guess as I'm recording this voiceover, I don't really even have a video filmer right now, so I can't use any of this, but so this whole experience was quite some adventure, and I'm glad to have went on it, and at this point, I think it's time for me to step off the board.
That's the skateboard video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll probably maybe have a different sort of conclusion a different time. I'll just say, you know, thanks for tuning in. Hope you got some fulfillment out of it if you watched this far. I had fun, and that's what matters. Cool. Cheers.